Hey guys, Dr. Rama here. This week we're going to be talking about personal power and its dark side, which is shame. Shame is one of those emotions that really kind of feeds into a lot of low self esteem issues, and pretty much really is a stop on any sort of confidence that you could build up within yourself. Shame will thwart that very quickly. And what happens is when you are approaching anything from a place of shame, it's a incredibly negative energy. If you, as you can realize, you are giving up your sense of personal power and what you stand for, and that will always lead to either results that are not what you want, obviously, or it will lead you to be in situations repeatedly where you are constantly having to give up more and more of yourself to compensate. Now, this becomes an issue all around. Again, not any of the emotions that I talk about are never really specific to any one thing. It can bleed into every area of your life. But the like I've said this before, and I'll repeat it ad nauseum all the damn time. That's just these are messages that really need to get into our, not even into our brains and then kind of processed by us, but really for us to all embody and live in a way that is true to who we are as individuals, and then furthermore as a collective. But when it comes to shame, and it's very important to understand what its flip side is, so that you will have a guideline for understanding when you are in a situation where shame is coming up for you. And and it comes up in very sneaky ways. There are a lot of people who I have spoken to, especially in the past few weeks. The past 3 weeks in particular has been a lot about this. It's come up for me a lot personally as well, which is just natural. I tend to mirror whatever's going on with the people that I'm attracting. That again is just synchronicity. That's the way it works. But with shame, what comes up is what you will feel, again, because it's personal power. If you go back to the chakras, this is going to be your solar plexus, so it's going to be right in here, in right where you're at the bottom of the rib cage, under your heart, obviously. So that's where most people will really feel a tightening there, and sometimes will actually feel it in your root chakra too, and this is why. Shame is when it comes to instinct versus intuition, it's an instinct response. It's also something that is completely manufactured by humans. We are the only species on the planet that experiences shame. We're the only ones that can be shamed in any way. There's no other animal, there's no other being on this planet that has to deal with that. If they need something, if they want something, they go and get it, and there is no shame involved by others of their own species in their lives. And again, this is the human construct. This is what being human is about, is being put into these paradigms where we are either, in this case, shamed for something, most likely by our parents at some point, whoever was taking care of us when we were kids. And that, especially at that age, because we, again, have no idea of what the world, this world that we were brought into, looks like. So when we experience shame, most of the time we will feel very triggered. Like usually everyone's like gut reaction to it, again, it's an instinct response, it's a fight or flight response. But when you do feel shamed, your first initial reaction is going to be to get defensive and get angry. And you may not even be full out, blown out angry. You may not feel even, but you'll feel a little ticked off. You will feel triggered. And it's important to understand that, because whenever you feel triggered, it is important to understand that whatever emotion is driving it, it's still a instinct response. It's still a fight or flight response, which means you are going to be operating from a survival mode. And when you're operating from survival mode, you're only going to make progress so far before you hit a wall. Because again, the whole point of not only this group, but our whole point as being humans is to be able to transform our fear responses into into our intuition, so that we can operate from a place of divine being almost, or just being the best human that we can be, rather than operating as a lower animal that needs a fight or flight response to understand its environment. Fight or flight response for us is really just a tool to use to evolve into intuition. But it's also important to be aware of when that response is triggered, and when you are available, emotionally available and mentally available enough to be able to start working through that instinctual response and turn it into an intuitive response. And with shame, it will come up in any number of ways, but what you need to understand with shame is it will always somehow impact your confidence in yourself, and your confidence in your ability to do anything, whether that's creating, whether that's making money, whether that's being in a healthy relationship, whatever that is. But your confidence is always going to be in relationship to the shame that you feel. So that's for this video, that's just kind of the starters. I just wanted to kind of bring to light what shame is about, and what its counterpoint is, what it can be turned into, and it's very important to understand that. So if you feel a lot of shame about a lot of things, what you need to understand is that the flip side of that, your result where you could be, is having that equal amount of confidence. Not arrogance. Like, arrogance is a different thing, but being fully confident just that much as you do feel shameful right now. Like, it's an equal and opposite, right? So if you're talking about duality and everything exists in twos, like you have an up and a down and a left and a right. And when you have shame, its opposite is personal power and confidence. And when you transform the shame into confidence, it's a grounded confidence. It's not an arrogance. It's not hubris. But that's what you're looking to do. So really what I would like you guys to do today is really share wherever you feel comfortable, because I know this is a very personal topic, but I am looking to see where everybody is at in the group as far as your relationship to your shame, and how you have how, if you're working through it, how you've worked through it, what parts have you already worked through that you feel comfortable sharing about, or where have you been stuck about transforming shame into confidence, personal power, that you are willing to share. I know this is personal. That's why I kind of wanted to do these in videos, so that you understand. I want you guys to understand that, first of all, I get where you are. We all experience shame in some way, and we all are carrying around some sort of remnant of shame that we thought we had worked through. That's why these kind of conversations are so important, is to understand that you are always going to be working through the same things. Like, all of our blocks will always be the same way. They kind of just morph into something else, but it comes down to the same thing. And no matter where you think you've evolved past the shame that you may have experienced earlier on in your journey, or if you're just starting to work through it now, understand that as long as you are operating from a place of awareness and not of ego, your ego is going to try to protect you. Again, your ego is a primitive fight or flight response as a human. It's there to protect you. So it's not going to want to recognize that you feel shame about anything, especially when you call it that. When you call shame by its name, that in itself can feel shaming. So it's just, but you cannot address a problem. You cannot start to solve a problem if you don't know what the problem is. And it's very important to call a spade a spade. And if you have been trying to put something out there, or trying to hit an income goal mark, or hit a client mark, or just whatever goals you have, or trying to hit a weight loss goal, or trying to get that healthy relationship back into your life, or have one if you've never had one before, if you're looking, if you're, wherever you are, whatever goal you're looking for. And it can really, this applies across the board. But when you are in that place, and if you haven't gotten that and you've been working toward it for any length of time and you aren't there and you don't feel like you're any closer, you're hoping that you're closer, but you have no clear signs as to whether or not you are. Take a second, take a second and do some internal inventory and see if your confidence is by any chance being affected, and that's why your results aren't where they are. And if it's your confidence, then you have to then look at the flip side of that and understand, is there any shame that is feeding my results right now? All right. Please, in the comments below, please share either a shame that you have turned into confidence, or if you're comfortable sharing where you are right now, and what you're working through, what kind of shame you're working through right now, and where you're looking to kind of transform it into. Hope you guys are all having a great day. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.